The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the absence of the clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. Reading of the Journal.
In Senate, Monday, March 10, 2025, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Friday, March 7, 2025, was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the Journal stand approved as read. Presentation of petitions. Messages from the Assembly. Messages from the Governor. Report to standing committees. Reports to select committees. Communications and reports from state offices, motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I move to adopt the resolution calendar with the exception of resolution number 484.
All those in favor of adopting the resolution calendar with the exception of resolution 484, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution calendar is adopted. Senator Gianaris.
There's a privilege resolution at the desk. Please take that up, read its title, and recognize Senator Gonzalez.
There is a privileged resolution at the desk. Secretary will read.
Resolution 489 by Senator Stuart Cousins, commemorating the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday and the Selma to Montgomery March across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, which served as a catalyst for passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act.
Senator Gonzalez on the resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the leader for bringing forward this resolution honoring the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. On March 7th, 1965, 600 people set out on a peaceful march from Selma to Montgomery. The marchers were protesting white officials' refusal to allow Black Alabamians to vote. Uncertain of what laid ahead, they marched forward anyway. They marched despite months of violence against civil rights protesters in Alabama and the murder of one of their own, Jimmy Lee Jackson, a 26-year-old activist who had been fatally shot in the stomach by a police officer during a peaceful protest just days before. Given the significance of this anniversary, I think it's important to remember this event in John Lewis's own words. As he recounted, "We started walking. I was wearing a backpack before it became fashionable to wear a backpack. In this backpack, I had 2 books. I thought we were going to be arrested, so I wanted something to read in jail. I wanted something to eat in that backpack, so I had an apple and an orange. Since I thought we were going to be arrested and go to jail with my friends and colleagues and neighbors, I wanted to be able to brush my teeth. I had toothpaste and a toothbrush. When we got to the highest point on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, down below we saw a sea of blue Alabama State Troopers. We came within hearing distance of the troopers, and a man spoke up and said, 'I'm Major John Cloud of the Alabama State Troopers. This is an unlawful march. It will not be allowed to continue. I give you 3 minutes to disperse and return to your homes or to your church.' And a young man walking beside me by the name of Jose Williams from Dr. King's organization said, 'Major, give us a moment to kneel and pray.' Before we could pass word back for the people to kneel and pray, the major said, 'Troopers, advance.' They came toward us, beating us with nightsticks, trampling us with horses, and releasing their tear gas. I was the first one to be hit. As we honor Bloody Sunday, the civil rights movement, and the fight for voting rights, we are also honoring an American tradition that change does not come from on high, but from ordinary people with extraordinary courage. John Lewis was just 25 when he led this march, and he believed that everyday people had the power to stand up and call out when something isn't right. I am grateful to those who marched before me. Many of us would not be here without those hard-won voting rights. I was also 25 in the summer of 2020 when I joined thousands in protests. However, the backpacks we carried looked a little different from John Lewis's. In my backpack, I carried masks and hand sanitizer, a water bottle, a fully charged phone, and if I got arrested, my ID, and an in case of emergency card with the name and contact information of 2 friends. Just as in 1965, the hundreds and thousands who showed up were everyday people. For some in this room, both Bloody Sunday and the 2020 protests happen in the span of your lifetime. It's a stark reminder that freedom is fought and won in every generation by everyday people and that the work isn't done. Voting rights is the anchor for all of the other rights we fought for and won over the last 60 years. Yet, since the Supreme Court struck down huge portions of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, we've seen many states pass onerous voting ID requirements, shut down polling places in Black and brown neighborhoods, and more. We are lucky to be in New York, where under the leadership of Andrea Stewart Cousins, we've passed the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Act by Senator Myrie and some of the most robust election protections, including adding more early voting places and ballot drop-off boxes. We've also passed same-day registration on the first day of early voting and have encouraged voter education and transparency. These wins do not mean that we can stop marching. Today, we are seeing a reversal of our deepest American values of diversity and equity. The next generation, our children's generation, are at risk of having fewer rights than we did. And if we want our children to grow up in a democracy, we have to start by protecting elections. Bloody Sunday wasn't the last attempt to march in Montgomery. Later that month, 600 people became 25,000 people who marched the full 54 miles. And just 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act was signed. Right now, as legislators, we have a duty to find the courage to stand up and speak out for what's right, regardless of the consequences. As we take on the next set of challenges and existential threats to our democracy, we must, as John Lewis said, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America. Thank you, Mr. President. I encourage my colleagues to support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Gonzalez. The question is on the resolution. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Senator Gineris.
Let's move on to previously adopted Resolution 423 by Senator Harkam. Read that resolution's title and recognize Senator Harkam.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 423 by Senator Harkam, mourning the death of John O. Peck, devoted husband, father, grandfather, brother, and small business owner.
Senator Harkam on the resolution.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You know, we rise in this chamber to pay tribute to our constituents for a variety of characteristics. Today, I stand here to memorialize and ask colleagues to join me in memorializing someone just for their basic human decency, which is a trait that I think we are sorely lacking. My neighbor John Peck passed away a few weeks ago. John was born in 1951. He attended John Jay High School, which is our local high school, the high school my daughters went to. He was a lifelong resident of Vista, New York, which is a hamlet in Lewisboro. And publicly, John was best known for founding J.O. Peck Heating and Cooling, where he was known for his craftsmanship, his customer service. It was not uncommon on a Christmas night for John to be in a customer's house fixing their heating system. That's just who John was. He was a devoted husband to his sweetheart Carol. They were together for 50 years. And John fought cancer 3 times, defeated it 3 times. His wife Carol was by his side every step of the way. He was a devoted father to his 2 sons, Jeff and Mike, who I know through the Vista Fire Department. Jeff is the current chief, and Mike is a lead foreman in the department. But those who knew John knew of his love of cars, his love of racing cars. He was a practical joker, playing jokes on his sons returning, playing jokes on him. He and Carol and the family loved going to Disney World. That was really the joy, that family tradition they had. And he was a grandfather, I should say, and just cherished being a grandfather to Reagan and Luke. So, you know, obviously just a wonderfully, wonderfully decent person who will be missed by friends, family, and the community, taken from us too soon, to be sure, but certainly one who really left his mark on all of us, and somebody who we should really just take a moment and pause and reflect upon our own responsibility to those around us and for basic, simple human decency. That was John Peck. I vote aye, Mr. President. Thank you.
The resolution was previously adopted on March 4th. Senator Janaris.
Next up, Resolution 484 by Senator Baskin. Read its title and recognize Senator Baskin.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 484 by Senator Baskin, mourning the death of Michael Harmon and Jordan Collado, beloved artists and advocates and devoted members of their community.
Senator Baskin on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is with great sadness that I rise to express the profound sorrow and senseless murder of two community icons in my district who were killed in their home last Tuesday. No elected official chooses to rise in situations like this. Mickey Harmon and Jordan Salato were community and business leaders and longtime activists in the LGBTQ+ community. Mickey and Jordan brought a light and love and their creativity to the Allentown neighborhood, making our community, making District 63 a better place to live, a better place to work, and a better place to play. Their tragic murders will impact our community, my district, for years to come, which should be a vital call for us here in these chambers to examine mental health issues where I believe these tragedies are rooted. May these two exceptional men rest in heavenly peace. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Baskin. Senator Ryan on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to my colleague, Senator Baskin, for putting together this resolution today. It's an important resolution. So I rise today to honor the lives of Mickey Harmon and Jordan Salato, victims of senseless murder that occurred last week. I share in all the grief that the Buffalo community is feeling. Mickey and Jordan were partners, and they loved Buffalo. They were artists, and they were leaders in the LGBTQ community, and they were so dedicated to making Buffalo the best that it could be through their service, through their art, and their commitment to improving Buffalo's neighborhoods and to a more equitable world. It's difficult to describe the extent of the profound impact that these two individuals had. And many have noted that Mickey was an icon of gay Buffalo. He was a talented artist, a dedicated leader in Allentown and all across Buffalo. The murals and the art that Mickey created often honored gay and trans people and Buffalo's history, as well as our beautiful architecture. Jordan came to Buffalo just a few short years ago, but he quickly became part of our Buffalo family. At Remedy House, where he worked, to the dance floor, Jordan will always be remembered for his welcoming presence and the joy that he brought to countless friends and neighbors. Our city is a better and a brighter place because of how Mickey and Jordan showed up and they contributed. I'd like to close by reading something that Mickey wrote a few years ago. Mickey was a contributor to an arts project called Postcards on the Edge. It was a pandemic project where a local gallery called Hall Walls created postcards that local artists would design, and inside there would be an accompanying message. They would be put in mailboxes outside of locations for people to pick up, especially during that time of despondency and isolation. Mickey designed a card featuring Buffalo's great architecture treasures, but with smiling faces on them. But he wrote this to go along with it. To all Buffalonians, let us be reminded of our community's past and present so we can all look forward to a more positive future. The history of the Queen City is full of innovators, industry, and communities of good faith. These buildings we share are a testament to the civil and sovereign duty we have celebrated in this city of no illusions. It's your Buffalo, it's my Buffalo, and we are all neighbors. Those were beautiful words that captured exactly who Mickey and Jordan were. Mickey and Jordan may be gone, but their legacy will live on in Buffalo. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
The question is on the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Senator Janaris.
Mr. President, the sponsors of today's resolutions would like to open them up for co-sponsorship.
The resolution is open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor, please notify the desk. Senator Janaris.
Please recognize Senator May for an introduction.
Senator May for the purposes of introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate, distinguished guests, and colleagues, it's my great honor to introduce to you two esteemed guests who have joined us in this chamber. First, I am privileged to welcome the Consul General of the Federal Republic of Germany to New York, His Excellency Till Knorn. Consul General Knorn has been a steadfast advocate for strengthening the ties between Germany and the United States, particularly here in New York, a state that shares deep historical, cultural, and economic bonds with Germany. Since assuming his role last summer, Consul General Knorn has worked tirelessly to promote collaboration in areas such as trade, education, climate action, and cultural exchange. His leadership has been instrumental in fostering a relationship built on mutual respect and shared values. Accompanying him today is Mr. Anton Klix, the head of political affairs at the German Consulate General in New York. Mr. Klix plays a critical role in advancing diplomatic initiatives and ensuring that the partnership between Germany and New York continues to thrive. His expertise and dedication have been invaluable in addressing global challenges and strengthening the bonds between our peoples. New York and Germany share a long history of cooperation and friendship, including the contributions of German immigrants like my great-great-grandmother, Elizabeth Weyerhaeuser, who came here in 1852 from Hesse. These immigrants helped shape our state's identity to the modern-day partnerships in innovation and sustainability. Our relationship is a testament to the power of international collaboration. Consul General Knorn and Mr. Klix, we are honored by your presence here today. Your visit underscores the importance of diplomacy and enduring friendship between our nations. On behalf of the United States Senate, I extend our warmest welcome and gratitude for your ongoing efforts to bring our communities closer together. Thank you. And everyone, please join me in welcoming Consul General Till Knorn and Mr. Anton Klix to the New York State Senate. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator May. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all of the privileges and courtesies of this House. Thank you for coming here, and please be recognized. Senator Gianaris.
Recognize Senator Ort for another introduction.
Senator Ort, for the purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to turn our attention to our guest on the other side of our chamber here today, a constituent of mine, Niagara Falls Mayor Robert Restaino. Bob has been, I call him Bob. We have a great personal relationship as well as a working relationship. He's a lifelong Niagara Falls resident. I won't say what year he was born. That's not nice, but he's a lifelong Niagara Falls resident. He's a Niagara Community College graduate. He's a Niagara University graduate and a University of Buffalo Law School graduate. He was admitted to the bar in 1986, assistant public defender of Niagara County from 86 to 95, and he was a Niagara Falls City Court judge from 1996 to 2008, presided over domestic violence court, and then he was elected as the mayor of Niagara Falls in 2019, took office in January of 2020. And I will tell you that while everyone here knows Niagara Falls, because you know the falls, you may be familiar with the state park, the city of Niagara Falls has gone through a lot of challenges, economically, culturally, over many years in many mayoral administrations. And running to be the mayor of Niagara Falls in 2019 was not an easy decision to do. I know the mayor could have done a lot of other things with his time, but he cares about Niagara Falls. He knows that Niagara County certainly can't be the county it could be and should be if its largest city is not all that it can be. And I would argue that New York State is not all it can be if Niagara Falls is not all that it can be. So I know he's working very hard on economic redevelopment, on bringing new people to Niagara Falls, rehabilitating the housing stock, a host of issues. And I'm proud to say that even though we're not of the same party, we have a great working relationship, and I'm sort of more proud of that, I guess, than anything else. But it gives me great pleasure to welcome him here to our great chamber. Mayor, you're always welcome here. Great to see you here in Albany. I look forward to continuing to work with you back home, and I would ask all of my colleagues to give the mayor their warmest greetings here today, Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor, we welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all of the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please remain standing and be recognized. Senator Gianaris.
Let's take up the reading of the calendar.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 133, Senate Print 1328 by Senator Parker, enactment of the Public Service Law.
Day, please.
Bill be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 136, Senate Print 1848 by Senator Harkam, enactment of the Public Service Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 136, voted in negative, Senator Walczak, aye 60 nays 1.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 167, Senate Print 240 by Senator Kruger, an act to amend the Emergency Tenant Protection Act.
Read the last section.
Section 6, this act shall take effect on the 60th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 167, voted in the negative, Senator Walczak, aye 60 nays 1.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 195, Senate Print 1202 by Senator Clare, enactment of the Elder Law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Clear to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon. Sadly, fraud and abuse are still prevalent in our society and with our older New Yorkers, continuing to be the fastest growing segment of our population. The time to craft a comprehensive and proactive response is right now. Therefore, this legislation establishes the Interagency Elder Justice Task Force within the New York State Office for the Aging, with the goal of encouraging collaboration between elder justice stakeholders and developing strategies, systems, and programs to protect older adults from abuse and mistreatment. The task force must request input from stakeholders, advocates, experts, and coalitions, and meet at least once a month. The task force purpose is focusing attention on elder justice, improving policy, and creating a multidisciplinary mechanism to work towards alignment across agencies. Within 1 year of this legislation's effective date, the task force must hold 5 public hearings around New York State, and within 2 years of the effective date, the task force must report its findings and recommendations. I believe that in working across various agencies, tapping into multiple subject matter experts, and refining our knowledge by collaborating with those who work in this field every day, we can bolster our state's response and ultimately empower our older New Yorkers. I proudly vote aye.
Senator Clear to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Borrello to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the sponsor for this bill. Every year we conduct senior fraud, to community town halls throughout my district. I want to say thank you to the Center for Elder Law and Justice based in Buffalo, New York, that does an amazing job. They come out, as well as our various Office for the Aging county partners. But this is going to tie it all together and make sure that those voices are heard, and hopefully best practices can be shared throughout the state to address one of the worst things that I've ever seen in my life, and that is defrauding some of our most vulnerable senior citizens. Thank you, and I proudly vote aye.
Senator Borrello to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Aye 61.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 215, Senate Print 2091 by Senator Kavanaugh, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Aye 61.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 240, Senate Print 365 by Senator Skoufis, enactment of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 30th day of the shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
In relation to Calendar 240, voted in the negative, Senator Walzing. Ayes 60, nays 1.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 252, Senate Print 496 by Senator Fernandez, enact to amend the labor law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 275, Senate Print 1786 by Senator Henchy, enactment of the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 280, Senate Print 1377 by Senator Serrano, enact creating a legislative task force on outdoor environmental education.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 294, Senate Print 1842 by Senator Holman Siegel, enact to amend the election law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 303, Senate Print 2255 by Senator Comrie, enactment of the Public Authorities Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 303, voted in the negative, Senator Walzing. Ayes 60, nays 1.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 426, Senate Print 5326 by Senator Bailey, enactment of the insurance law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect 1 year after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins-White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 61.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 438, Senate Print 4925 by Senator Ramos, enactment of the labor law.
The bill will be laid aside for the day. Senator Giannaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
Move to adjourn until tomorrow, Wednesday, March 12th at 3 p.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, March 12th at 3 p.m.